Hello everyone. Sorry, I had to abruptly end the previous call because I got another call. So this can happen. Like we are doing it live, so I may get important calls from my professional front, which I have to attend. But then I will come back and try and merge all these small files. The last one went for 20 minutes or so. So let us now move into the SAP discussion which we were doing on HANA. And only thing is all these different books are in different places, so that's why sometimes, yeah, I got it. Okay, so here up to this is should be clear, right? This follows the acid principle. Atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability is followed by HANA. It has a development, it has a server side, it has also got a development side. So for database management, basically the database side, not the server side. What I meant is database side. So from the database management perspective, it is called the index server, and from the development platform perspective, the same thing is called the XS server. Okay, up to this done. Now the diagram. I can download. No, no need to download. I can make it little smaller. Zoom out to 100%. Yeah, this should be fine because I have to capture the screenshot here. 75% is all right. Not all right. It is very small. So 100%. We'll go by 100%. Yeah. And we will quickly take a screenshot of this. This is simplified view of the HANA system. Let us put it into our PowerPoint. Hmm. Let us go here. This is the diagram that is coming from this book on SAP Press. And if we go to the other book, uh, yeah, the one that I have kept under Adobe PDF, this one, cookbook, HANA cookbook. Okay. This is more precise and target oriented. SAP Press books are good because it explains the concept and gradually goes into the things, but sometimes hefty concepts, and sometimes with lot of marketing is also there in those books, marketing from SAP's perspective. And other authors who refer that book and write of their own, they must need to understand the concept well, summarize it, and then make a um, document out of it. So here we will put this two diagram, this diagram and this diagram. Let me do a, let me first discuss it as what I remember. Then we will go inside it, and wherever there is anything correction required or addition is required, we'll discuss that. So here, where is the screen pen? I don't have a marker pen, is it? Yeah, pointer is laser pointer. Client application means end users logging into the system. Just remember, it's like a poem. Client system, end user logging into the system either via the NetWeaver system, BW or ECQ, or they are logging like other SQL client are also there. Web browser is like you accessing it over the internet or in the web, or you are doing on premise. Then NetWeaver is coming into picture, and other SQL element, BI server, BI tools, etc. So when it is NetWeaver, SQL request is going and entering into the HANA system. HANA system has index server, so it accepts the one that has come by the user from the front end, and these are queries like database query are going in SQL format. Index server can read it, understand, process it. Similarly, at the bottom there is further component. Once we go into the architecture of index server, then we will understand that. You are seeing here access server, which is beyond the discussion point in our tutorial. However, I can tell you that this is the development engine. And as I was telling you, right, HANA Studio, HANA Client, HANA Studio, Sybase, so administration and development. See, there is a line going from here and going from SAP HANA Studio. This connection point is going all the way down to the data flow. SLT, SAP data service, brick, other data processing. There is a web browser, APS admin. So from internet access, apps for admin and development. So development part access. What type of development? It's the design specific of HANA platform. So that development happening inside this. And if we see the other diagram here, you will see different node. High availability is if one node is down, it goes to the other node. So here you will see index server, preprocessor, name server. So that is basically the next diagram which I am going to discuss. But see this, the HANA appliance, it has index server, preprocessor, name server, statistics server, access engine. What are these? I will tell you. SAP Host Agent, LM Structure, SAP Solution Manager, Diagnostic Agent. Connection is with everything. HANA Studio to repository, Software Update Manager, SUM for SAP HANA. So this part is under HANA Appliance. And here it is Host Agent, SAP SMD Agent, and shared persistency for failover and recovery. Okay, now let us deep dive into the explanation. And while explaining, I will refer these two diagrams. Hmm. Enterprise application requirement have become more demanding. Complex report with high computation on huge volume of transaction data and also business data to other format, both structured and unstructured. Data is being written or updated and also read from the database in parallel. What they are trying to say is not, right now the revolution is happening in the data front. You must have heard big data, Hadoop, data lake concept. So put down all put all the data, be it in a structured form, be it in unstructured form, not in sync. First accumulate all the data, and just like you throw the garbage into the garbage pot or bin, you throw all the data, and then from there you streamline it. You take you do extract it, transform it, load it. So clean data. This process is called ETL. So there are a lot of ETL tool like BODS, BobJ, extraction, transformation, load. You will see lot of tools are there using which this is happening, and this is one task. So as you see here, high computation on huge volume of transaction data, and also the because transaction is continuously happening, so huge volume of data is getting generated, and uh, and also business data or other formats. So transaction data, business data, different types of data is getting populated. We are world living in a world that is thriving on data. More information. Data means from the data we get information. From information we do the necessary. We can plan our business strategy, leads, campaign. That's what the digital marketing people do. Like they enhance with the keywords and make the search engines more viable, to be more prone to move their post on the top. Other posts will gradually go down. Tell me something, like when you go to Google, you finish your query within the first 2 3 clicks, right? You don't wait for to go to the second or third page. But there is an art by which you can move it to the first 3 4 key links. But again, that is in the periphery of search engine optimization. We are coming back to in HANA, transaction data and also business data or other format, both structured and unstructured data. Data is being written or updated and also read from database in parallel. So from one database, data is getting written, updated, and you're extrapolating data from the same. Parallel processing is happening. Things are happening very fast. Hardware is developing, software is developing. Both are going in rapid pace. If you guys are interested in reading novels and stuff, sometimes you can get this book called Chip War, Silicon Chip. It will tell you how even the microchips, which is there, the processor of computer, how it has resulted into a kind of a Cold War situation across the globe. This is a very good book, Chip War. I haven't read it in totality, but I find this book very engaging. So, coming back to the original discussion, thus integration of both transactional and analytical data into single database require SAP HANA. Why we have gone for HANA? Transaction data, online transaction protocol OLTP, and online analytic processing OLAP is the bread and butter of HANA. At one end, transaction, business transaction. You give, I want to buy this pen from you. I will give you 10 rupees. That is getting entered. Transaction data. Uh, Analytical data. I have a data of a particular month or quarter, how the sales figure is going, who is which segment of my sales is doing more profit, which is going on loss. All these calculations are happening in a dashboard. Let's say good tool is Power BI. It analyzes the data. We will bring Power BI also in our discussion, but that will take some time. We will bring it for sure. Tableau, another software, um, yeah, for data analysis. Thus, the integration of both transactional and analytical data into single database is required. SAP HANA has evolved from here. Customer strange storage exports into single database required for SAP HANA has evolved from here. Sorry, columnar. I have, yeah. Columnar storage exploits modern hardware and technology, multiple CPU core, large main memory, and cache to achieve requirement of enterprise application. So this is how HANA is being structured, right? It will pull data, columnar storage. I have once explained, right? Or let me show that diagram to you. I think this explanation has got deleted. So here, I had captured the diagram earlier. See here, this is row, this is column. If you have to search Arjun using row storage and you have put Arjun's data here in row C3, then in row store, if SQL request is going to pull the data in from the row level, so it will start from the left like this, it will go to the right, again it will take all these cells, or it is like this way it will go, this will check all this cell, this will check all this cell, and finally it finds out truth. So it is taking time for the database to fetch the query, the application server to fetch the query from the database. Whereas on the contrary, if it is stored, if it also has feature of columnar storage, columnar analysis, that will say tag, 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 three, like this, like this, like this, parallelly in columns it is searching. So HANA has that feature in it, columnar storage, columnar processing. HANA also supports row store. So it is both row and column store simultaneously happening, or one at a time, depending on the simultaneously happening. And that is something getting managed inside HANA. So that's why it's a powerful database. At the same time, in-memory computing engine, because it computes the data in RAM, not in not in the database level, not in the database. Every processing is happening in RAM, and it is supports analytics. It supports development. So there is lot of things that HANA can do together. It's not just a database. It's a in-memory computing engine which supports OLAP, online analytic processing for data analysis, and OLTP, online transaction protocol. Like these are transactions, business transactions. So there will be multiple CPU core, large memory, caches. So these are the kind of modern hardware we are providing for HANA and achieve the requirement in enterprise application. Okay, this is good. So now they have given short notes on what is index server. So let's refer to that diagram and trying to extrapolate the information from here to there. Okay, 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 okay. Index server. Okay, before that, the SAP HANA database consists of several services. You call it servers. So several services are getting supported. There are several servers are there. Index server is the most important component of the servers. Other servers are name server, preprocessor server, statistic server, and XS engine. Name, okay, first come index server. This server holds the actual data and engines for processing the data. When SQL on MDX is fired against the SAP HANA system, in the case of authenticated sensors and transaction, an index server takes care of these commands and processes it. HANA would have not been called a database had we have it would have not been termed as a database if there is no original database. Yes, there is a database at the bottom tier, so which is storing information for all, I mean for a longer time. And what does index server do? This server holds the actual data, engines for processing the data, SQL and MDX query. So why don't I this part is explained but in a little advanced way. I will take you to our explanation in the SAP Press book, which is much easier than this explanation or index server. Hmm, wait a second. Here, no. It's here. Before going into this, instance system, node, distributed system, SAP HANA system, external storage, persistence layer is where it is storing. The index server is in the primary data image in the RAM, network layer. So see this diagram. operating system process of SAP HANA database, where we have index server, name server, access server, SAP web dispatcher. So just see this bigger diagram. Where is the more explained holistic diagram? There is a one here. Yeah, this is the one. Database client, SQL or MDX. This is the index server. Inside index server, you have a connection session management. You establish a session within the RAM. So when there is a session, there must be an authentication system that whether you are authorized to log in, that is being checked by this component. Now that request, after once it gets authenticated, it's processed here in SQL server. Then below that there is the in-memory store which I am talking about, which is row store, live cache, column store. All these three things are there inside the in-memory system. And there are other operations also. There is search engine also, AFL framework also. And when you see this repository of index server is also getting parallelly used by the repository of access server, where access is for the development part. So it has the session manager, it has authentication, same like this. Here session, authentication. Resource handles OData, C++, JavaScript, static component, JavaScript. Because from where these requests are coming, these are HTML or HTML5 requests, development oriented. So it has to have the OData, C++ engine, JavaScript engine. That's why you can read the website, right? From where it is coming. And what do the name server, which is just beneath it, do? Okay, it's a topology of the object location information. Where exactly the object is located in the database table. It has the index topology. When you go at the back of a good book, you see index. It talks about the page number. So from there, this is used. Index servers persistence layer is to bring back. Okay, persistence, we will check what is persistence. The SQL system, and it is access server which has the persistence system. Index server inheritance, persistence layer is here also. So this is used for page management and logger. And below that you have the name server just below access server, which is the topology as I was telling about the of the location information. Backup catalog, backup manager, these are also for the backup. So in the top part, this everything is happening in RAM. So you have the page management, persistence layer, logger, preprocessor, statistics server does all this statistical analysis part. Script server takes care of the functions and library for scripting. And under this everything, there you have the disk storage, which is the actual database which is storing everything. On top of the database, you just remember there is this RAM part of the processing is happening in memory computing, and over there index server is for the database. Hmm. And access server is for the development, and they are interconnected. Index and access are interconnected. Similarly, index is connected with compile server with preprocessor. Now this diagram is very important. As and when we will unfold through the nitty-gritties of the discussion, then we will be referring this diagram again and again. So let us take a print screen of this. I pause my video here. I am going for lunch. Meanwhile, I request you to go to the internet and search by every component. What is index server? What is name server? See, you it's mentioned index server. It never holds the actual data. Sorry, index server holds the actual data. I apologize. And engines for processing the data. When SQL or MDX is filled with in SAP HANA system, in the case of authenticated session authenticated, and transactions that are happening, the index server takes care of these commands and processes it. It's command processor. And how is index server explained in SAP press book? In a much simpler way, they have explained index server. index server. I just explain index server now, and then I will go for lunch. After that, when once I come back, I will explain the rest in the HANA architecture. So let us put here. Okay, this diagram is important, and let us go here. Index server. The most practical purpose. The index server is the database process of for SAP HANA. It provides SQL interface for SAP HANA's SQL port. See, categorically it is divided. It is the database process for SAP HANA. So this index server directly links up with the master database at the bottom. And it's a process that is running in the in-memory, the RAM. So it is processing. So index server is the most important component in HANA architecture. So index server is the database process of SAP HANA. It provides what it provides an SQL interface on SAP HANA's SQL port. So interface is so you can write the SQL query, insert select start from table name, insert those commands, SQL commands that you have, and it manages all database tables and other objects of the database catalog. Okay, it processes all SQL query in the database. So all the SQL queries that comes to the database, again, if we see the diagram, how the SQL query will come. You see, this is all mentioned SQL. Are you able to see this? I think you should be able to see it now. These SQL requests are coming, and index server provides the SQL interface for SAP HANA SQL port. Okay. Provides the database table and other objects of the database catalog, and it processes all SQL query in the database. Inside the HANA system, all SQL queries are processed by index server. Then comes name server. We'll go to name server after lunch. I think that would be better. Okay, just name server. SAP HANA needs logical view of itself. For example, the components of the location of the data. I was telling you, my name data is in one C3 table. So we need to know the location, the index basically of book. Same thing, name server. So this is called topology. The topology is managed by name server component. The name server becomes particularly important in distributed database system, which we have mentioned. So distributed database system also you will see. It will be okay. It will cover in another part of the section. Fine. So that is name server. So as of now, we have discussed index server and name server from SAP Press book. And if we refer the book here, the other one, SAP cookbook. Now let us read what is index server. The server holds the actual data of the engines for processing the data. What it does, the data processing. When SQL and MDX is fired against SAP HANA system, in this case, authenticated sessions and transactions, an index server takes care of these commands and process them. Database processing is thus how happening in index server. And name server, the server holds complete information about the system landscape. Name server is responsible for the topology of the SAP HANA system. Understood? Topology. And in a distributed system, SAP HANA instances will be running on SAP HANA instance will be running on multiple hosts. In this kind of setup, the name server knows where the component are running and how the data is spread on different servers. So if there is multiple database server, multiple systems, the name server know which data is in captured where. It will go and quickly fetch it from there. I will start from preprocessor server in the next discussion. So we are closing it at index and name server. I'll be back shortly. Thank you all for joining.